year is 1997. Scotland have formed their own parliament, Microsoft just became the most valuable company in the world, and the greatest movie ever made has just been released. No, not that one. No, not that either. Now, I'm of course talking about Face Off, starring John Travolta and God's gift to mankind, Saint Nicholas Cage. See, I said Saint Nicholas. That means it's a Christmas video. Directed by John Woo, yes. That John Woo. It tells the tale of FBI agent Sean Archer as he hunts down international terrorist Castor Troy and the many hijinks that ensue. Oh, and spoiler alert, I should probably mention the insignificant detail that about 30 minutes or so into the movie, they literally trade faces, so the face-off is both them facing off against each other and also them taking each other's faces off, meaning this film is 100% deep. Of course, with such a star-studded cast and artistic visionary at the helm, the movie was a smash hit, becoming the 8th highest grossing movie of the year, just above Batman and Robin. So since some of you are Zoomers like myself and weren't even alive when the movie came out, I thought I'd bring it to your attention and take you through the cinematic masterpiece that is Face Off. Oh, and if you didn't put it together, this video is going to contain spoilers for the entire movie. So if you want to enjoy it for yourself first, then go do that and then come back here and we can talk. The movie begins with Travolta as Archer enjoying some time on a merry-go-round with his son Michael, having a wonderful time going around, cuddling and making stock laughing sound effects, as well as doing the single most confusing thing in this movie, this weird hand-on-face thing. Like, why would you ever do that to someone in real life? If someone did that to you, wouldn't you just be thinking about the last time they went to the bathroom and they didn't wash hard enough and got a little bit of doo-doo on the fingers? Oh, and believe me, people are doing this constantly in the movie.
My name's Jamie.
I counted 9 face touches in the entirety of Face Off, 5 of them being on male. That leaves us with a pretty even pie. With a runtime of 138 minutes, that left us with a face touch on average every 15.33 minutes. Anyway, they're having a grand old time until Nick Cage as Troy enters the scene, and now is a great time to talk about the fact that this movie has the best character establishing shots for Troy. The slow-mo and sound effects of his blanket swooshing into the background, followed by a close-up of his mustache sipping a drink. This is just oozing Chad Endurant. I'm feeling very insignificant watching this. So anyway, Troy takes a shot at Archer and he and his son fall from the merry-go-round. Michael dies after being in the movie for like 2 minutes. Big rips to Mikey A. But the hilarity just never ends with the slow-mo and horse neighing sound effect and the fact that literally no one reacts. Like, we can literally see people in the background and on the merry-go-round, so why does no one either come to help or scatter away to avoid being shot? Like, I get it's suppressed, but come on now, you're telling me they got shot and fell in total silence? Suppressors don't even silence the bullet, it just makes it a little bit quieter. And my next point, why the hell does Troy stop shooting? He can clearly see he didn't kill his actual target, so why does he stop? Because it certainly isn't mercy. As we're going to see in this film, he doesn't really give a shit. Anyway, I could break down every scene like this, but this video would be longer than the actual movie, so we should probably just move on. After the shooting, we skip 6 years into the future, where Archer is now a tortured soul in the FBI who is hot on the heels of Troy. And you know he's a tortured soul because he constantly looks sad, is an asshole to every member of his staff.
Because we're a covert anti-terrorism team that is so secret that when we snap our fingers, nothing happens.
And does impressions of the Donald in The Office.
Yeah, well, you trust.
But enough of that, we have another Troy establishing shot, and this is quite possibly the funniest thing to ever be put to film. Now, I'm just going to try and let it play, because there are just no words that can add to it or do it justice. Now, I'm undoubtedly going to have to cut around this to avoid getting slapped with copyright strikes, but I hope you can see why I think this movie is such a masterpiece.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
It's just incredible. So Troy has set a bomb inside the LA Convention Center using his Hot Wheels keypad.
Hot Wheels! Beat that!
Before fleeing to an airstrip for his third hilarious establishing shot. We're not even 10 minutes in. He's meeting with his brother Pollux, which, to be honest, I didn't even know was a real name, but okay. They're aiming to flee the country, but oh no, Archer has caught onto them, so he's on the way to intercept. How dramatic. In the meantime, Troy gets his tongue sucked on by the air stewardess, whilst his brother gets a little hot and bothered in the seat next to him, which is uncomfortable to say the least. And I just want to offer a round of applause for the actress Lauren Sinclair. Imagine getting a role in such a hit movie, the 8th highest grossing movie of that year, and your screen time is spent sucking on Nicolas Cage's tongue. Legendary stars. Anyway, interrupting whatever was going on there, Archer's massive fleet of police vehicles enter the runway to chase the plane from behind for some reason, whilst the only vehicle coming towards it head-on is driven, of course, by Archer himself. Oh, wow, would you believe it? The air stewardess was actually FBI agent Winters, undercover. Boy, I bet she'll handle this expertly with all her training and bring the plane to a stop, leading to a quick and clean... Or she'll get decked by this Poindexter, tossing a Samsonite briefcase at her and getting gagged by Troy. Any frame of Cage in this movie could be used as a meme. This film is such a blessing, we don't deserve it. So of course Archer, the car isn't enough. He ends up flying a helicopter above the plane and manages to prevent it from taking off long enough that Troy is forced to crash into a hangar. A hangar with a door seemingly made from sparklers and fireworks. Troy, of course, does a spectacular slow-motion dive and a massive firefight ensues where a bunch of FBI agents are taken out, Pollux is captured and makes this indescribable noise. Archer does whatever that is, and our two main characters have a face-off.
That's the name of the movie.
Now this showdown is just packed full of hilarity, like all of Troy's lines,
You watch your fucking mouth!
his laugh, whatever this weird arm movement is. It culminates in Troy making some barking noises, finding out he's out of ammo, singing a song, and being kicked into the exhaust path of this gigantic engine that's just sitting there for some reason. He flies through the air, which is hilarious, of course, and is seemingly killed when he hits a fence. We then get a small scene about Archer's home life that serves only to show us it's the shit relationship with his daughter Jamie and his wife Eve, and has avoided dealing with his son's death to pursue Troy. He heads back to the office, and despite getting rid of Troy and the object of his obsession, he's still putting on the asshole-obsessed cop routine. He lists off all the names of the agents that died trying to capture Troy, and I am literally only telling you this so I can show you these two names.
Pincus, Janelli.
Anyway, Arch finds out about the bomb via floppy disk that was recovered from the crash, and if you've ever used a floppy disk, you will know that's bullshit. Whilst viewing these plans, he briefly evolves from sad boy to angry boy, and I can't tell you which one is funnier. It's just gold across the board, baby.
Where's Pollux, Troy?
They aren't getting anywhere interrogating Pollux, resulting in Archer yelling "well" in the strangest way I've ever heard anyone utter the word.
Look, I know Castor too well for this to be a hunch.
Since the Pollux angle isn't working, Archer heads out to look into alternative methods. Here he finds that Troy isn't dead and is being secretly kept alive in a coma. How shocking. Then Reginald Hargreaves comes in and explains the face swapping procedure to Archer. Not only would they swap faces, but they would change his build, his voice, and even his hair using animations that can accurately predict my hairline over the next 5 years. Going through this procedure would allow Archer to become Troy and get his brother Pollux to talk about the bomb, thus saving the city. Strangely, Archer doesn't seem too overjoyed with the prospect of literally becoming the dude that shot and killed his son, but after committing several felonies and exhausting a couple of other leads, he has no choice. But as with any secret mission, he can't tell anyone, not even his wife. Of course, being a shit husband is nothing new to Archer, so he agrees, slaps on a fake smile, tells his wife he's going away for a while, touches her face, goes on his merry way. And now, 33 minutes into the movie, we finally have the actual face-off procedure, which showcases how these two men have the hairiest breasts in the world, which immediately ends directly under the nipples. After the procedure, Archer wakes up and for some reason goes through quite a range of emotions seeing his worst enemy looking right back at him.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!
After a quick hit of
Drugs.
he gets over it, calibrates the voice changer,
Peach. I could eat
A peach for hours.
Perfect.
and boom, Archer is now 100% Nicolas Cage. After a brief face massage from his main man Tito, he's transported to a Supermax prison where Pollux is being held and is forced to wear boots from the Super Mario movie. Why? Well, I'm glad you asked. Firstly, it's so the prison guards can track all inmates via a complex purple dot interface. And secondly, it's when the prisoners break the rules, they can be frozen in place via the boot magnets, sticking them to the floor. This is immediately showcased when Archer is attacked by some guy that Troy cooked and is forced to defend himself, whilst also convincing Pollux and everybody else that he is in fact Castor Troy, leading to Nicolas Cage looking like he's just been beamed into his body and is learning how to use it. It's truly beautiful. And if you weren't convinced he's Troy, he even tells you a few times. After this convincing display, Archer and Pollux have a chat about the location of the bomb, meaning mission accomplished, we can all go home. Ooh, that's not good. So Troy wakes up and it's safe to say he's not too pleased with his current facial situation, and the noises he makes here, I don't know how a human makes them, but they are just hilarious. Calls up his gang in a British accent.
For some fucking...
And has them track down the doctor. Now what do you think happens next? A, that they have a delightful chat before agreeing to go their separate ways. B, the doctor challenges Troy to a rap battle for his freedom. Or C, Troy puts on Archer's face and goes to see him in prison. Yep, we all knew it was that one, congratulations. Now it's Troy's first time in Archer's skin, so obviously he's going to act incognito as to not attract attention to himself, right?
You good looking. You're hot.
Yeah, of course not. He acts insane. But what else would you expect from a scene between these two? It's like any good villain, Troy shows his hand and lets Archer know that he's taken his identity and taken out everyone that knows about the operation, including...
Do you know?
How did he manage to take out so many high-ranking government officials without arousing any suspicion? Beats me. And while we're asking questions, why have none of the fights Archer has had so far loosened the voice tip when a, quote,
violent sneeze could dislodge it?
Beats me. After pondering for a moment on these fantastic life questions, Troy pulls Pollux out of jail so he can confess the bomb's locations, allowing Troy to defuse it and become a hero and give one of the greatest interviews ever to make it to air.
Well, that is classified information, but if he's listening, I wouldn't mind giving him a message. Interception. Now our side's got the ball. Sorry.
Troy heads back to the office and no one suspects a thing despite him now acting like a cocky cool guy instead of a total asshat. Like one of his employees even makes a joke about, oh, have you had a medical procedure?
Sir, did you just have a surgical procedure?
What do you mean?
Well, was the stick successfully removed from your ass?
Very on the nose. Oh, you scriptwriters, you elaborate fools. And the same thing happens when he gets home. He makes an elaborate candlelit dinner for his wife, and she suspects nothing, despite the fact that her husband has been a complete mope for the last 6 years, just went away, and just came back. You really think he's going to be in the mood to make candlelit dinners? To be honest, I think she does suspect something, but she just likes it better this way. And can you really blame her? I mean, like, he really is the Chad Troy to the Virgin Archer. He even beats up a guy that was trying to get frisky with Archer's daughter and gives her a knife to defend herself.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
Meanwhile, in an effort to escape, Archer gets into a fight with a guard, or 6, so he can be taken to the electroshock chair and get his boots taken off. The guy who he was fighting with earlier, Dubov, is just finished up on the chair, and Archer manages to convince him to help him escape. So the two blitz the guards, despite Dubov literally just having his brain melted mere moments ago, and Archer being beaten by several men with sticks. Sure. They then battle their way through the prison, complete with stock sound effects and various war crimes from the FBI agent. After some intense hacking, Archer is ready to escape, but oh no, Dubov, his ally of all of 3 minutes, falls over the railing. Better sit here trying to save him rather than running. Anyway, after failing that quick time event, Archer makes it to the roof where he is able to leap to the water below. And I just want you to take note of just how far away the land is in the distance. Like, that's at least a couple of miles, right? Anyway, next time we see him, he's on land and stealing a car from some valet parking. I guess he really got the 400-meter swimming gold on Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. Troy hears about this escape and he isn't too pleased that there's been no body recovery, leading to this remarkable line delivery.
It hasn't been recovered yet?
Archer heads to some of Troy's criminal buddies for help and takes something that I can only imagine is called the face-off, since it causes them to have my exact reaction to watching every single moment of this movie. They discuss a plan to take down the fake Archer and...
I'd like to take his face off.
Hey, that's the name of the movie. Archer heads to, as he calls it, the little boy's wee-wee room.
Excuse me, I have to use the little boy's wee-wee room.
Pulls another excellent face and gets knocked out by one of Troy's girlfriends. When he wakes up, he finds out that Troy has a kid with this girl, Sasha, called Adam, who looks a lot like Michael, causing him to have a bit of a freak out that seems uncomfortable for everyone involved, including me. Anyway, enough family drama. It's been like 5 minutes. We need another action scene. During this time, Pollux has tracked down Archer, and Troy sent a full police task force to take him down. You know the drill by now. Slow motion, sparks, pointless dives, lots of shooting, hammy acting, and all of our main players getting out just fine. Until... oh no, it's Dietrich, my favourite character of those 3 scenes he was in. Also, why is his last act to give his sister such a steamy kiss? It's pretty gross. And also, how the hell is he speaking? He's been shot in the throat.
Hey, man. We had some good times, didn't we?
Whatever, man. It's irrelevant. We got more hammy acting to admire. Troy and Archer end up in the same room, and Troy dances around Archer until they're head to head on each side of a mirror, aiming at each other. Ooh, symbolism. Of course, because we're only an hour and a half in, they can't kill each other just yet, so they do some pointless flips, miss a ton of shots, and delay long enough for Archer to escape while some guy launches a grenade at him. Hits the roof, and Pirates of the Caribbean's his crotch into Pollux, sending him falling through 2 skylights to his death right in front of Troy. That's not going to feel good. Troy has a brief cry, gats some FBI agent in the face, and heads back to the office. Archer's boss comes in to give him a bollocking for shooting up a building, and for some reason is now on the brink of a heart attack despite him displaying no other signs of this in his previous scenes. This allows Troy to schwack him in the chest so he can assume full control as acting FBI director. That's convenient. Whilst this is happening, Archer sneaks into his home to see his wife and convince her of what's going on. She doesn't seem to believe him at first, despite his very convincing argument.
I'm Sean.
After talking a little while longer, she seems to come around and take some blood from a sleeping Troy to check the blood type. I have no idea how this doesn't wake him up. I guess when you're a macho man terrorist, you tend to feel no pain. But anyway, she's now confirmed what Archer told her. After another face touch, she patches up his wounds, and they come up with a plan to take Troy out at the boss's funeral. Archer turns up in his best Agent 47 cosplay.
Welcome to Paris, 47.
And it appears Sasha is joining him on his mighty quest for epic face. During the service, Archer sends Troy a message to let him know that he's there, and afterwards waits inside the church for the final showdown, or the final face-off. And of course, Troy has to enter spectacularly one last time and compare himself to Jesus Christ, which at this stage I think is totally reasonable. The whole thing turns into one big, giant Mexican standoff with basically all of our main characters in the same room, and as Troy puts it,
Whee! What a predicament!
This of course turns into yet another ridiculous firefight with dumb camera angles, a ton of slow-mo, and a bunch of over-the-top insane dives. Sasha dies along with a few henchmen, but our 2 heroes and Eve are just fine, which leads us right into, you guessed it, yet another firefight, and possibly the most pointless dive yet. Several hundred bullets later, we end up outside with Archer having the advantage over Troy with a gun to his head, but oh no, Jamie just got here and stops them and shoots her dad in the arm. Whoops. Troy... Whoops. Sorry dad, I shot you in the arm. Whoopsie. Troy takes a hostage, but remember the knife he gave her? Yeah, I guess that came to bite him in the ass or stab him in the leg. The chase continues onto the water, with our hero stealing 2 super high-powered speedboats that were there for some reason, leading to a delightful aquatic pursuit. And I haven't mentioned it until now, but this scene is just too obvious not to. It is so clear when it's stunt doubles and not Cage and Travolta. Like, I don't know if it's because screens in 97 let you get away with this thing, but in these 2 wide shots, you can clearly see it's not either of them, it's just some random guys that look vaguely like them. Anyway, they go through several set pieces, including Archer's boat crashing through another and being destroyed, but not before he catches up to Troy to leap onto his. The 2 fight for control before eventually they crash into the shore for the final face-off. We go back and forth until Archer has Troy pinned to a wall with a harpoon trained on him, but hold your horses, boy. Troy stops it firing with his hand, somehow, and then starts to cut up his face. For some reason, Archer waits until he's cut like 3 times before kicking him in the nards and taking him out for good, but not before each one of them has one little bit of ham. Quality. As soon as this is over, the police turn up and Eve somehow managed to convince all of them over the phone that the face swap operation is not only real, but it happened to them and that they need to swap them back. They of course bought this instantly because the movie needs to end, so it's time for surgery for Archer. Now, even though the doctor and his team who pioneered the process and seemingly were the only ones who could do it have all died, it's just fine. There's 5 minutes left, I don't really care anymore. He goes through the surgery, his face is totally fine despite being cut up, and Troy comes home to his family, which seems to relocate to Silent Hill, judging by the ridiculous amount of fog outside. Now it's all slow-mo, happy music, and face-touching, but Archer has one more surprise. Remember the kids Sasha had with Troy? Yeah, apparently they're now adopting him with no family discussion, but the movie's over, so it doesn't really matter, so just go with it. The family seems fine with it anyway, so it's all good. So yeah, that's Face Off. Overall, I love it. The action scenes are stupid fun and happen often enough that you never get bored, but not so much that it becomes repetitive. The plot keeps moving at a good pace with very few pointless scenes. Of course, there are a bunch of plot holes, but it's Face Off, what are you going to do about it? The performances are obviously some of the best I have ever and will ever see. Both Travolta and Cage absolutely knock it out of the park, having to play two drastically different characters. And even if they are overacting, but just a little bit, they're having fun with it. And if you watch this movie, you will too. Now, if I had to give it an objective review, I'd probably give it somewhere around a 7, maybe. It's a good movie, but it's not like a masterpiece. But subjectively, once you factor in the fun points, 10 out of 10, baby. You gotta see this one. Go get some friends together, have a few drinks if you're into that sort of thing and of the appropriate age, and strap yourself in for the best 2 hours of your life. So yeah, that concludes my review of Face Off. I know this is super different to my regular content, but I do really enjoy this movie and I want to share it with you all. And I do also enjoy trying out new content, especially when things are a little quieter in the Warhammer world. So if you'd like to see more of this type of video, any movie reviews at all, leave a comment down below of any movies you'd like me to check out and I'll be more than happy to do that. And of course, leave the video a like. It's the best way to tell me that you like the video. You know, the dislike is also there. You can't see that, but I can. They do hurt me. So please, if you don't like a video, just tell me. And if you really like the content, you can also subscribe if you haven't already. Only 12% of viewers are subscribed, so you better be one of them or I'll be sad. And I also might send my boy Castor Troy after you. Also, you've got less than 2 weeks to pick up the Christmas sweater merch and anything else store-wide for 10% off with the code FESTAG2021. Once New Year hits, they are both going to be gone forever. I'd also like to thank all supporters of the channel, in particular Henry Tucker and It's Your Boy LC for their support of that and Clean Ones tier. Supporters like you really help make content on this channel possible, so I really appreciate every single one of you. But that's all for now, so thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.